This year, I am celebrating my birthday for the first time in a long time. I am overwhelmed thinking about it because I stopped celebrating my birthday when my mom passed in 2015. I know what day I was born, but I don't really talk about it. I don't really do anything special about it. And a girlfriend of mine decided to tell me that, girl, you're off anyway. You might as well have a good time. I'm going to be in Philly. I'm hosting the Black Veg Fest. And what's so crazy about it is that I never really thought about celebrating my birthday, even though I had 2 days off to be in Philly and to do this hosting thing. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to go up there early, and then I'm going to, turn around on the latest train. And then the next day, I'm off. And it would have been a continuous cycle. But she convinced me because we both have been battling grief, and everyone deals with grief, different ways. And, I know that for these last 11 years, I haven't really been living. And I've been going through the motions, but I haven't really been living. And it's been coming to a head over since the beginning of the year. I did my vision board and I was like, I really want to, step it up and things of that nature and just different things, lifing. And I realized that I have become invisible. And I'm not talking about invisible as in nobody can't see me. I'm talking about to myself. And as I've been unpacking that, because, when my mom passed, I'm the only kid, and, I had to deal with all that by myself, even though I had aunts and uncles and stuff like that. But my mom is and was my best friend. And so when she left, it was like I was orphaned. And it was like, oh, what the hell am I supposed to be doing now? Because for the most part, I was living la vida loca. I was just being and doing how I want to do and, just being whatever. But when she left, it all stopped. And, I threw myself into work. And I'm just like, oh, all I do is work. All I do is work. And the years started going by and I was just like, I don't know shit. And I used to know shit, but I don't know shit, And so, I stopped getting dressed. Most of my clothing is mostly like workout gear, because that's the only thing that I like to do is I go to work out, even though I go on stints. Like for a strong 3 months, I'm in the gym, I'm doing whatever I'm supposed to. And then I'll fall out of love with it for a couple of weeks, and then I'll get back on the train and get back on it again. And I realized that was a cycle because, it was not calling the thing a thing. It was doing the surface work, but it wasn't doing the internal work. And so I'm going to be hosting the Black Veg Fest in Philadelphia. And a friend of mine was like, oh, I just got a promotion. I want to go too. And I was like, okay, well then that got me to thinking that, oh, well, if she's there with me, she can also be my videographer and take pictures, because I said, I haven't been taking pictures. I don't have like a visual piece to show what I've done. Like you can see different stuff on my Instagram, but I haven't really been like taking pictures. And I see all the friends and all the people just, taking like random shots and all this other stuff to show that they've, had a good time. And it got me to thinking, because I'm a realist. Like I'm not one of those types of people who live in delusion for long. I can operate through delusion, but at the end of the day, I'm a realist. And I started to think about life before my mom passed and how I, used to love going shopping, and I used to love going out to eat, and I used to love just popping up and popping out and going to different events and all these different things that I used to love doing. And when she passed, it was like everything was in a standstill. And you don't know how grief will take from you. You don't know how grief will take from you. And over the last couple of months, it's been coming up. I've been asking myself those hard questions like, Angela, why aren't you doing those certain things? Or why don't you make those a priority like you did? Or why aren't you doing this? Now, I'm going to keep it full transparency. A lot of it was financial because, I didn't feel like it was in my best interest to just, put something aside and go and blow and whatever the case may be. But a lot of it was I just forgot how to. You know what I'm saying? Because once you decide to put yourself in a certain mode, you stick to the lakes that you're used to. I guess that's the best way to say it. And so as the years went by, I'm living vicariously through other people. I love doing stuff. Like I'm a social person, but I'm also like, I just didn't feel like it was important. I didn't feel like putting in the effort to go and do was interesting to me anymore because all I kept thinking about was that my mom wasn't here. And every year around her birthday, which is April 24th, through April 24th to June 13th is always hard because she had her birthday. She passed at the end of May, which was 13 days before my birthday, hence the reason why I stopped celebrating my birthday. And so this year, a friend of mine was like, girl, you're going to be in Philly anyway. You might as well. And it got me to thinking about, like, why didn't I think about that? Like, keep it a buck, I was just going to go up there and come back. I wasn't concerned about networking. I wasn't concerned about celebrating. I wasn't concerned about this. But she ended up getting a promotion. She was like, I deserve to celebrate myself. And I was like, I had been thinking about it. And what's so crazy about it is that I used to be known as someone who didn't really think about anything and I would just do it. I can be very impulsive, but I stopped being impulsive when my mom passed. And then I started thinking about all the things I stopped doing because I was grieving. And then this year, April 24th has passed, is on its way to May 31st. And I was like, I just don't want to do that and feel like that no more. I just don't. Like, the woe is, and it wasn't a woe is me. It was more so like, I don't know if it was a protective type situation. I really can't call it. I really can't call it. But I know that I no longer want that anymore because it's robbing me of things that should be and is important to me. So, yeah, I'm celebrating my birthday this year. And I'm really, truly excited about it because I'm going to be around people who believe in the things that I believe in. And I'm going to be with a friend that I've known for, 8 years, but she just been coming in clutch. She's been coming in clutch. And, friends, I don't use the word friend lightly. I really, truly don't. But I can honestly say I have a good tribe. And a good tribe is something that reminds you of yourself or reminds you to get back to yourself. So I'm really excited. I'm celebrating my birthday this year. And I'm going to celebrate all year long. And I'm going to relearn things because I feel like I operate in arrested development. I really, truly do. But that's going to be another episode where I talk about just different things that I'm realizing and understanding. And, I feel like I'm being born again. Yeah. And I'm excited about what that is going to look like. So if you're interested in following my journey, this is not going to be a super edited type situation. It's just going to be me coming up here sort of doing therapy. And yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm really excited. I'm celebrating my birthday this year. And that is a huge step. It's a huge step. Yeah.